This is a Japanese fairy tale called Momotaro. It's a really famous and popular fairy tale, like Cinderella or The Three Little Pigs is here. There are songs about it, and kids put on plays at school. And it is one of the fairy tales that I grew up with as a little girl, and absolutely one of my favorites. I'm so excited to be able to share it with you. So here's Momotaro, retold, and illustrated by Linda Shute. So this book came from the Boston Public Library, which I think is pretty cool because it's right around the corner from us. And on the front jacket, the inside part of the book, there's a little bit of information about the story. But the part that I think is really cool is the first sentence in the second paragraph where it says, originating in Japan over 1,000 years ago, which means it started in Japan over 1,000 years ago. So like we've talked about, fairy tales are super old stories that have just been told year after year after year, and now they're finally written down. In this story, we're going to have a few words that we're not as familiar with. One of them is kibidango. Kibidango are these sweet treats that they make in Japan. They're made out of rice that gets pounded into this really chewy, soft dough. They're flavored, all different flavors, but they're really sweet. And in this one, you can see Momotaro themed kibidango. So there's a little picture of Momotaro-san and a little picture of an ogre. Now, an ogre is the other thing that we're going to see. In Japan, they're called onis, and they're blue or red or green. They have a horn on their head. They usually have like some kind of lion or tiger striped loincloth that they wear. They are also super, super mean and grumpy. And finally, the thing that we're going to hear is a furoshiki, which is just a little cloth wrap that people use to carry things in. Not nowadays, but a long time ago. And finally, the very last thing is oba-chan and oji-san. Oba-chan means grandma, and oji-san means grandpa, and that's what they call the old man and the old woman in the story. Long, long ago in Japan, there lived a kindly old woodcutter and his kindly old wife. They worked hard for their daily rice and were content except for one thing. If we only had a child, the oba-san or old woman would say, how happy we'd be. Yes, her husband, the oji-san, would agree. I wish we had a small son who would grow up to care for us in our old age. One fine spring morning, after Oji-san had left to gather firewood, his wife went to the stream to wash clothes. While she was scrubbing and rinsing, she looked up. There was a huge ripe peach floating toward her. That looks delicious, Oba-san said to herself. We'll have it for supper. But the fruit bobbed far out in the water. Stretch as she might, Oba-san could not reach it. Then she recalled an old charm verse. Clapping her hands to the rocking of the peach, she sang, Far water is bitter, near water is sweet. Leave the far water and come to the sweet. Closer and closer danced the peach until it rested at her feet. Then she lifted it into her washtub and carried it home. At sunset, when the woodcutter finally returned from the hills, Oba-san called, I've been waiting for you all day. Look at the surprise I have. And she showed him what she had found. What an enormous peach, he said. Where in the world did you get it? After she told him the whole story, he said, I'm glad you brought it home, because tonight I'm especially hungry. Hand me that big knife. I'll cut this peach in two and we'll eat it right now. But just as he brought the knife down on the fruit, a tiny voice shouted, Wait a minute, Oji-san! Suddenly, the peach split wide open and out stepped a baby boy. "Heavens!" cried the two old people. "Don't be frightened," said the baby. "I'm the answer to your prayers, the child of your old age." Then the couple laughed with joy. "We will name you Momotaro, which means peach boy," they said, "because you were born from a peach." Delighted by their good fortune, Oji-san and Oba-san brought up the boy with love and tender care. Each bowl of rice, every dumpling they fed Momotaro made him grow bigger and stronger. As the years passed, he became as brave as he was strong, yet he was friend to all animals and a help to his parents. When he was 15, Momotaro told Oji-san and Oba-san, "I have grown up with the gifts of your kindness and wisdom. For these I can never thank you enough. Now it is my turn to help others. I need to go to Onigashima, the Oni's island, and fight those terrible devils. For years they have attacked and robbed our people. I want to punish the demons and bring peace to our land." The old couple were afraid for their son to fight the wicked Oni, but they were proud of his courage. Finally, Oji-san said, "You have never been an ordinary child. Truly, you were sent to us as a gift from heaven. You may go with our blessing." "We will make your favorite kibidango," added Oba-san. "Our dumplings will give you strength on your journey." After Oji-san ground the millet seed, Oba-san cooked 3 kibidango and wrapped them in a furoshiki, which she tied to Momotaro's belt. Then they gave him a sword, a war fan, and a banner of white silk embroidered with his emblem, the peach. When it was time to part, the old couple had tears in their eyes. "Sayonara! Farewell! Come home to us safely," they called. "Sayonara, dear parents," replied Momotaro. "Take care. I will return as soon as I can." Then he marched down the path alone. So in this illustration, you can see them saying goodbye. They're giving him his banner, his kibidango. You see the peach is on his little flag, his banner there, and his sword is on. He is off to do battle. Peach Boy walked and walked. When he got hungry, he sat down to eat one of his kibidango. Just as he started to put it into his mouth, a big skinny dog came along. "What have you there?" he asked, sniffing. "One of the best kibidango in all Japan," the boy answered. He saw that the animals half starved, and he thought, "I'm strong. I can do with one less dumpling." So he gave that kibidango to the dog. As soon as the dog had gobbled it down, he asked, "Who are you? Where are you going?" "I'm Momotaro, the peach boy, and I'm going to Onigashima to fight the cruel Oni." "I'll help you, kind peach boy," said the dog, and so the two of them went through the fields together. As they entered the forest, a monkey swung down from a tree. He poked Momotaro's furoshiki and asked, "What have you there?" "The best kibidango in all Japan," Peach Boy answered. "My, I'm hungry," said the monkey. Momotaro thought, "I'm strong. I can do with 2 less dumplings." So he gave a kibidango to the monkey. After the monkey had nibbled it all, he asked, "Who are you? Where are you going?" "I'm Momotaro the Peach Boy, and I'm going to Onigashima to fight the wicked Oni." "I'll help you, brave Peach Boy," said the monkey, and so the 3 of them went through the forest together. Before long, they heard a harsh cry overhead. A pheasant flew down to Momotaro, calling, "Help me! I can't find any food for my starving baby birds. What have you there in your furoshiki?" "Just 1 kibidango, the best in all Japan," Momotaro said. Then he thought, "I'm strong. I can do without any dumplings." So he gave the last kibidango to the bird. When the pheasant had shared it with his hungry chicks, he returned. "Who are you? Where are you going?" he asked. "I'm Momotaro, the peach boy, and I'm going to Onigashima to fight the greedy Oni." "I'll help you, mighty peach boy," said the bird, and so the four of them went over the hills together. At first, the monkey and the dog quarreled. That means they were arguing. But Momotaro told them, "We will never defeat our enemy if we fight among ourselves." Then he ordered the monkey to march ahead carrying the banner, and the dog to march behind carrying the sword. Between the two marched Peach Boy carrying his iron war fan. Under his command, the animals soon became faithful friends. The troop traveled around the mountain and across a wide plain. The day had grown dark and cold when at last they reached the water's edge. A small boat was waiting for them on the shore, and there, far out in the fog, they could see the ugly Oni castle. And see, here on the beach is his boat, and it has a little peach sail on it. Quickly, the four boarded the sturdy little ship and headed toward Onigashima. An icy wind pushed them through the waves like an arrow. When they were near the island's rocky cliffs, Momotaro told the pheasant, "Go warn the Oni we are here." Away he flew to the top of the castle wall and called down, "The great General Momotaro is coming to fight you. Surrender now. Break off your horns and give back the stolen treasure." The Oni roared, "Ho, ho, ho! We're not afraid of a little bird, and we're not afraid of a Momotaro either." Meanwhile, Momotaro and the monkey and the dog had reached the castle gate. They set up a terrific racket. Momotaro shouted, the monkey shrieked, and the dog barked. The noise sounded like a great army. It made the king of the Oni bellow, "Who dares to knock at my gate?" The young warrior called back, "It is Momotaro, the peach boy, and his soldiers. The best kibidango in all Japan had given each of us the strength of 1,000. With that, the pheasant flew down and pecked the Oni's heads with his sharp-pointed beak. He dodged their iron clubs and screeched and beat the air with his wings. It seemed to the Oni that 1,000 birds were attacking them. At the same time, the monkey climbed over the wall and unlatched the gate. Rushing in with a battle cry, Momotaro began fighting the Oni with his sword, while the dog growled and bit their legs, and the monkey screamed and pinched and scratched them and pulled their shaggy hair. The frightened enemy didn't know whether they were being fought by 4 or 4,000. Many of the evil Oni ran away. Some fell off the high wall and were crushed on the rocks below. Others tumbled from the cliffs and drowned in the sea. Finally, only their king remained. He bowed down before Momotaro and broke off his horns in surrender, crying, "I am helpless against you, Peach Boy. All my treasure is yours." So Momotaro and his friends carried the Oni's treasure chest to their boat and sailed away, leaving the powerless king locked in his castle. When the heroes returned, they gave the poor people the gold and silver that had been stolen from them. What was left they put on a cart, which Momotaro and the dog pulled and the monkey pushed, singing "Enyara, Enyara, Enyara, ya," which is sort of like Japanese for heave ho, all the way home. Oji-san and Oba-san welcomed them with great happiness, and they all lived in peace and plenty for the rest of their lives. So on this last page, it has source notes. Source notes are when the author tells the reader where they got the idea from, any information that goes with the story, some facts. And in these source notes, it says, Mukashi Mukashi, a long, long time ago. The traditional Japanese tale begins. Before writing was introduced to Japan, stories like Momotaro were told by village elders, wandering peddlers, and fortune tellers. So this is a fairy tale that goes back a long time ago that was told by people to people to people over the years. I hope you like this story as much as I liked this story when I was a little girl. Like I said, it's one of my favorites. Now we're going to go on and fill out our chart for our fairy tale elements. So here is our fairy tale elements chart. So let's see what fairy tale elements Momotaro had. Did it start with once upon a time or long, long ago? Yes, it started with a long, long ago. Was there good and evil? Absolutely, those Oni were evil. Was there magic? I don't think there was any magic. Was there royalty or castles? No, no royalty or castles. Were there things in threes or sevens? Yes, our three companions, the dog, the pheasant, and the monkey. Was there a problem and solution? Yes, the Oni were bad guys. They were stealing from the village, and Momotaro went and defeated them and brought all the stuff back. Were there imaginary characters and talking animals? Absolutely. And was there a happily ever after? Yes, there was. So far we've read 3 fairy tales, and we've gotten all of them except for magic and royalty or castles. So we'll have to see what we can do about that.